Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play VIII Lacrimosa of Donna. When we last left off, we kind of ended up on this mysterious island, and we're pretty lost. We don't know what to do, so the only thing we could do is move forward. And there's a couple of things that I wanted to kind of address that I didn't really notice until I finished recording the first episode. I'm going to go into my systems here for a second. You're going to get some behind-the-scenes stuff. Because I realized the voices were a little bit low. So just going to turn them up a bit. Not too much. Just a little bit. Sometimes the cutscenes can just be a little bit too loud. And honestly, I think having that will be a little bit better. This is a trial and error. But you know, we'll fix it up as we go along. But let's continue our journey. As you probably noticed in the last episode, we have been hearing this brand new song playing in the background. And if I'm not mistaken, this song is called Sunshine Coastline. And let me tell you, it is one of the best tracks that Falcom has ever made for the E-Series. If you remember in the last episode, we also got some skills. We got this, which makes our combat so much more versatile. It lets us get around enemies quicker. It lets us attack a group of enemies together. It's a pretty good first skill that you can get. Sonic Slide is definitely one of the cooler ones that you get, just at the beginning of the game. It's nothing too fancy, and we will be getting fancier ones as we go. But honestly, for a starter skill, it's pretty good. It just allows you to do so many things. Oh? It seems we found like a riverbed or something. Adol found a clear water stream and drank from it to quench his parched throat. With each sip he took, Adol's exhaustion slowly washed away. Get it? It washed away? The game's pretty humorous. Field recovery. This is something that is pretty interesting because I think it mentions it there, but I want to go into it a little bit more. Let's continue on ahead. So, field recovery. Let me take damage from this enemy. Try again. There we go. I don't know. Okay. Just take care of these guys over here. There is a reason I'm clearing them out. Obviously, I don't want anything to block me from trying to do this. So, I'll pick up some materials, which I'll explain in a minute. But if you stand still, without doing anything, Adol's HP will slowly begin to raise. That's right, in this game, as you are exploring the fields of really any region that you're in, with some exceptions, your characters can fully heal themselves just by standing still. It's something that's been in the E-Series for a little while. I don't remember the first game that it was ever introduced in, but I know it's been there for quite a bit, and it's honestly a useful thing, mainly because in older East titles, medicine was really hard to manage. It's a little different than how this game handles it, which we'll definitely get into at some point. But yeah, like having that kind of thing almost feels like it's necessary to kind of have to make the experience a little bit better. I'm kind of glad they kept it in this one because on harder difficulties, managing your medicine can be really, really hard. So just the fact that they have this other option is really good. Oh, I got hit by that guy. I didn't even know he was doing something. See, like, just like that, I took a couple of hits, and I'm already at, like, half HP. That's what hard mode does, but honestly, it's not that bad, because, again, we can just stand still, and we can heal. And as you can see, it's pretty quick. The more HP that you have as we level up more and more, the longer it does take, but here's the thing that's really cool, is that when you start having about 200 or more HP in your current, maximum health, it'll actually start to slowly rejuvenate. But then the more you're rejuvenating, the faster it'll get, up to a certain speed, of course. It's not going to go, Sonic speed over here. They got to make the game at least a little bit challenging. I'm trying to get flash moves on this guy, but it's just not happening. There's also something over there that I want to kind of show off a little bit, but that can wait till we go back, because I don't really need it. Careful with this boulder. And again, you don't have to, like, aim for flash move whenever you're dodging. You can easily dodge just to get out of someone's way, or for movement capabilities, like you see here. You do, like, these little short hops. You can even do, like, this roll, show up, and then dash, and then roll again. There's like a bunch of different movement tech that you can do in this game that's pretty interesting, honestly. East 8 is just so much fun to move around in and fight a whole bunch of enemies. It's really cool, and the further we get, the better it'll get. But as you notice, there seems to be some fruit here, and on the map, which I'll bring up here, you probably notice some fruit icons. That's something we could do with that. You can actually hit fruit out of trees, and we got a crewberry. If you open up your item inventory with R2, you can see these are edibles. We can actually eat these, and they heal 100 HP. And it's pretty incredible. You can just farm these every time they respawn. I'm not too certain on the respawn rate, but I do know it happens every now and then, whether it be whenever you return someplace or the game's been off for a while. There are methods that you can use to farm certain items, which we'll kind of get into a little bit later, but that's something you just had to really research yourself. But there's something else that helps us that is honestly quite fascinating. But that's all for a later time. Let's move on.
Who's there? Word. Why must men be so disgusting, tactless, and so domineering, too? Yes, just like him. There. I suppose I kept you waiting long enough. We should introduce ourselves at least. My name is Laxia of House Roswell, a noble family of Garland. The ship I was traveling on sailed, and I was cast adrift until I came ashore here. Now, who are you? Judging from your garb, you must have been a sailor aboard the Lombardia.
Yes.
Adol Kristen. You say you're an adventurer? Don't try to fool me. I narrowly escaped that disaster with my life. As a member of the Lombardia's crew, you need to tell me exactly what happened out there. You said your name was Adol, correct? So, you're telling me that these giant tentacles attacked and destroyed our ship? Do you expect me to believe such a bizarre story? How big a fool do you think me to be? Oh, wait a minute. Do my eyes deceive me? Why do you remind me of... Hmm? Beasts? When did they...
Okay.
No need. I don't need to be protected by the likes of you. I, Laxia von Roswell, shall enter the fray.
Damage types. All enemies have a damage type that they are weak against. Adol's damage type is Slash, and Laxia's is Pierce, and there's a third one called Strike. All of these enemies that we'll be fighting across the game have certain weaknesses to certain attributes. You know, there's some that are just neutral and are weak to everything. When you come across some enemies, chances are that if you're hitting them with Adol but they're weak against Pierce, the action will take a lot of damage. We'll be seeing this a little bit later, but more importantly, we got a new party member that we'll be talking about a little bit. But apparently, even more importantly, I should say, Breaking enemies. Attack an enemy with the damage type that they're weak against to break them. This is almost a core combat element to Ys 8, where basically the game wants you to break enemies, to just get everything you can. As you can see at the bottom, it says a rare item drop will increase, or at least the rate of it will increase, and enemies will take increased damage from all damage types when you break it. Meaning if they're only strong against if they're only weak against slash, but you break an enemy, they'll be weak against everybody. It is insane how important breaking is in this game, yet how almost at some point it just starts to feel natural. You'll see what I mean when we play through the game, but yeah, it's insane. You can also order allies. Now, there's a lot of text here, but basically you can switch them between offensive and defensive. Where offensive, they basically will just attack the enemy while kind of sticking with the player. You know, they basically follow what you do and attack surrounding enemies. But if you set them to defensive, they'll actually stop attacking and they will actually start evading. This is kind of a neat thing. This will come into play a lot later, as I feel early game doesn't really need you to watch this as much. You can pretty much keep them on offensive and you'll be kind of fine, but a little bit of the fights that will be in the future that we'll come across actually will be pretty important if we use this. I don't typically normally use it, but there are certain situations where it works, and it works really well, might I add. Square will also let you switch between party members. That's right, we don't have to play as Adol, we can play as Laxia. Laxia is a very interesting character. As you can see, they said that her type is Pierce, meaning she's going to be strong against most flying enemies and things of the like. Laxia's weapon is a rapier, so a lot of her attacks are going to be thrust related, where she attacks the enemies with multiple thrusts of her rapier, and her skills, if I'm not mistaken, we can look at it now, is dagger fling. This skill, again early on, is so good. It is so good, and I'll explain later. I took you for an ordinary sailor, but your swordsmanship is rather impressive. Clearly, it was no accident that you managed to parry my attack. Well, you're not too shabby either. Your flattery won't work on me. Based on our current situation, this area must be the territory of those beasts. Let us relocate somewhere safer, Mr. Kristen. You seem to know a lot about beasts. She is pretty calm too, but, you know. Huh? I'm just speaking common sense. Let's get one thing straight. Given the circumstances, a temporary alliance is our only rational course of action. But I don't trust you. Not one bit. Do we understand each other? Good. Then stop wasting my time and get moving. Laxia joins the party. And the people entry of the journal is now available. Which, speaking of, Adol's journal can be accessed via the camp menu. It contains a wide variety of information. Oh boy, does it. I want to open this up real quick because I will gush about this damn thing so often throughout this playthrough, I feel. So you get your typical adventure records where it tells you the things that have happened throughout the chapters and what you've been doing and all that. You have the people category, which will just give you information on people you'll meet. This is kind of something that's become a thing in Falcom games, mainly the Trails of Cold Steel series, where I think this was kind of popularized. I think other games did it too, but Trails of Cold Steel is the one that comes to mind, where you can actually just re-listen to a whole bunch of stuff that will play throughout battles and as you're exploring. It's kind of neat, but you know, it's a silly thing to have. Of course, we have our bestiary, and oh shit, I closed it by accident. The material window. I love this window so much, and there's not too much to say now, but this window is going to be your best friend. I guarantee it. There's also a lot of things here. You can go back to the options and stuff like that and see all your tutorials on things. There's other stuff that I want to talk about the journal too. but I will save that for another time. Laxia is what I want to talk about right now. I actually want to go back real quick, because I want to see if I can fight some enemies. Because I didn't really show off... I showed off what she could do and how she works. But as I said, Laxia is a very quick character. Her strikes are fast, you know, while she doesn't deal as much damage as Adol, she's got a lot to her arsenal. And like I said, this move here, what's it called? Dagger Fling, is so good early game, because look at how devastating that is. If you time it right, you'll hit all 3 of those daggers on one enemy, and trust me, as you fight some bosses that will be coming across in this game, that ability is pretty good. Early game Laxia is kind of fun to play around with. She is a little bit slow in the air in comparison to Adol, like her downward strike is a little bit slower, but you know, it's pretty common for what it is. And you see the fruit is here already regrown, which was pretty great. But you probably noticed something there. She still thrusts in the air, where Adol will slash in the air. Yeah, her area of hit, I guess, or her hit area with her weapons, is kinda minimal. It's not bad, as in, like, you'll hit stuff that's in front of you and somewhat surrounding you, but Laxia is very precise with her movement and her attacking. She really is just like your basic fencer. But that's all we can really do right now. There are other places that we're going to be going. But, this place seems pretty safe first, so let's check it out. This place seems a little odd. Let's search the area and see if anyone else is here. Laxia has left the party. Don't worry, not forever. She will be coming back. Spoilers. Alright, the first thing we should look at is the pretty big elephant in the room, not gonna lie. This thing here is a giant crystal that stands before you. Its presence seems to soothe your body and soul. Adol's health is recovered. These are crystals. Crystals and retrying. Approaching a crystal fully restores HP and recovers negative statuses. On the game over screen, when you choose retry, it'll actually bring you to the last crystal you've ever touched. Which is an interesting thing. I mean, it is really cool that the retry mechanic works like that. I highly recommend, even if you don't really need it, touch these things as you pass by them, because you could be exploring forever, die to just something, and the next thing you know, you respawn all the way back here, where you're God knows how far from it. Don't worry, there is something that will kind of mitigate that fact, but still, I cannot stress enough, hit these crystals. It's very important. And of course, they've been in past E-series. VIII is the prime example of a game I think that had, or even introduced, the idea of the crystals. But I don't have that knowledge on me right now, so take my word for what it is. Looks like some driftage has washed ashore. Red meat ×3 has been obtained. Driftage. Various types of driftage wash ashore. Basically, there's not too much of this. I kind of wish I didn't tell you that, or at least show you here, because it kind of tells you that you're going to be coming here a lot more often. Occasionally, as you progress through the story, there will just be random chests here that you should always check. Every time you return to this place, I recommend checking this little area to see if a new chest has been placed, because sometimes they got some pretty good things in it, I cannot lie. Let's see where else we have to go. It seems we only have to go up here, but there are some places up here that we can go explore. If we come up here, it seems like... doesn't really seem like a lot. But a beautiful stream is flowing through. Looks like a perfect spot to quench your thirst, but there's no sign that anyone else has been here. That's a shame. Kind of at least hoping we could find someone around here. Doesn't seem to be the case, though. A large empty plot of land stretches over the slope. There's no reason to go that way. Fine, whatever you say, game. Wow. Yeah, we really seem to be on just an isolated island. Got some weird stuff over there, too. Looks like a giant tree or something. Dang. I hope we get to see that. Speaking of giant trees, there's one over there, too. This place is full of giant trees. Anyway, let's head to that exclamation point that the game is pretty much telling us to go to.
There's not an ocean as far as the eye can see. Where on earth are we? Hopefully there is a settlement nearby.
This is no time to be taking in the scenery. Have you forgotten that you're one of the... Have you forgotten that you're one of the sailors who's responsible for this debacle? Other crew members or passengers may have come ashore on this island. Come, let us look for them. I've searched the area, but there doesn't seem to be anyone else here. I did notice, however, that this area is surrounded by all sides of rocky cliffs. Well, I mean, this place seems pretty secure then, if that's the case. Indeed, this place is remarkably well fortified. Given the absences of beasts, this may prove to be a suitable location for a base camp. My word. Just now, I think I saw someone walking by over there. Let's go find out who it is. Indeed, whether it's a castaway or a native, we stand to learn something either way. Let us pursue them at once. Alright, so Laxia joined the party again. Wahoo. And, there's something I've been meaning to kind of mention. You've been noticing that I've been picking dialogue options for adult. To my knowledge, everything that you select doesn't really affect anything. Just the different dialogue options that you'll be getting. There's no good or bad answer. There's just answers that, in some cases, are right and wrong. Like, someone will ask you a question, you'll answer it, and they'll be like, I don't think that's right. But the plot will progress no matter what option you pick, so I really don't think it matters that much. Again, I'll look into that, but pretty sure it's fine. Anyway, let's go find that mysterious person. Apologies if you can hear that. My dog just came home from his walk. Seems like a really empty, barren cave. Why would anyone come in here? Well, let's go check it out. What is this place? This cave runs deeper than I expected. Let's tread carefully. Yes, of course. Alright, so this is our first quote-unquote dungeon of the game, the Water Drop Cave. So as you can see, we got a new enemy, the Anapushi. And yeah, they're weak against adult. Just go to town, break them. They're not that hard, you know. It's the first dungeon. They're not really gonna do too much to throw you off guard. Oh, these little flowers. I don't know what they're called, but if you hit them, you actually gain SP. They're found pretty frequently throughout dungeons in the world, so if you're running low on if you're running low on SP, hit one. You'll get some. This place looks like it's been lived in. Do you think someone could still be living here? I mean, I guess it's possible. Perhaps it is possible, but this hovel is rather dilapidated. Everything in here looks so badly damaged. Perhaps there's a clue here, waiting to be uncovered. Let's look around, Mr. Kristen. Yeah, I suppose it can't hurt to look around. Let's see. Oh, we do have a chest here. We got a heal potion. Ooh. This seems rather old, but maybe we could still use this? Items. I pretty much already told you how to do it. You can go here and then use it, but if you just hit R2, you'll bring up the quick drop menu. Yeah. Oh, actually, I should mention one thing. When I bought this version on PS4, I actually did get the DLC costume, which I don't really want to show yet, and it's for a very good reason. Just know that I do have it. Is there anything inside? The barrels are empty. I should have gotten my hopes up. Okay, I kind of... It's very funny how this game just kind of makes you examine a barrel, because of a lot of games I've played by NIS America, that being like the Mana Khemia or the Art and Alico series, and a few others here and there. Well, a lot of the Atelier series. Yeah, in the Atelier series. I don't know how I thought of that before Art and Alico. Doesn't matter. If you actually examine a barrel, the main character will always go, barrel. So every time I see a barrel in a game, that just kind of sparks my memory of that. It's pretty funny. Whoa, Laxia, calm down. Jesus. Leather armor ×2. Ooh. This is quite old, but Adol decided they should equip the armor anyway. I mean, it can't hurt, right? It's extra protection. And equipment kind of works the same way. You open up the menu, you go to the body, and you hit it. And we'll do the same for Laxia as well. Actually, I'm curious. Is this game... Oh, no. Okay, it doesn't. Dang. Alright, let's still examine this area. I just wanted to hit that because I like items. You notice a faint image emblazoned on this curtain. Look at that. It's a bit faded, but it appears to be an insignia of some sort. I know how to speak English. Unfortunately, the insignia is too faded to discern properly. Well, I mean, it belonged to someone. Who's been living here? It's kind of creepy when you think about it. Old jars and bottles are scattered about. They're caked in dirt and grime. This place has been abandoned for a long time. Still, it's obvious that someone must have lived here previously. Nothing here really stands out as a likely clue. I guess, I mean, there's not that whole much here. Ooh, but there is this. It seems rather old, but it might still prove useful. Mr. Kristen, why not use this sword in place of that rusted one? Honestly, I think anything we would have found is probably better than the rusted sword. Adol discarded his rusted sword and equipped the short sword. Short sword. Good lord. There doesn't appear to be anything else from the... I swear I have dyslexia. There doesn't appear to be anything else of use here. And we still haven't found that person I saw outside. Maybe we should move on. I agree. Let's just move on into the dungeon. So I don't have to read anymore. Except psych. I have to do it anyway. Mr. Kristen, a moment of your time, please. I noticed something during our previous encounters. Battle bonuses. You can receive certain bonuses during combat. Aerial combo will lift the enemy into the air to obtain bonus points, and skill finish is when you finish off an enemy with a skill to regain half of its SP cost. So if you kill an enemy with a skill that costs 10, you'll receive 5. It's kind of interesting, but not really noticeable until later. It's cool. It does help, but not in our current situations. It seems beneficial to be proactive in the use of aerial attacks and skills. So how does that sound to you? Sage advice if I do say so myself. I'll give it a try. Good. If you need that advice, future battles should end in our favor. Oh, if you heed that advice. I don't know why I record when I have a fucking dog in the house. I'm gonna be real. And one more thing. Breaking objects. Destroying breakable objects to gain SP or to find items. I kind of already talked about that, but yeah. You're welcome. This is useful knowledge, you know. Laxia is something, I'll tell you what. Speaking of, let's switch to her. And there's not too much I really want to talk about. You know, we're going to be going through the dungeon. Laxia rolled up, which is always good. And we're just going to be fighting a few things, so nothing too interesting is going to be happening. So let's just kind of relax. kind of enjoy our little trot through this dungeon hellscape, whatever we're in. Let's hit this just so we can make sure. Oh, and if you didn't, I don't know if I even pointed this out, but the SP bar is the blue bar at the bottom right. I'm pretty sure I pointed that out, but I'm unsure. Let me be very real. Or at least I'm pretty sure the game pointed it out, and I just feel like I didn't need to, but there you go. I said it just in case. We got some coconuts, which actually heal 200 HP instead of 1, which is always nice. Oh, actually, does this place count? It does. Okay, good. I wanted to mention this before we get to the next dungeon, which takes a little bit more to get to. Don't worry. When you are in a dungeon, or if you're in an important area where there's like... no, I guess there's dungeons, really. Like, whatever the game considers a dungeon. That whole standing still to refill your HP actually doesn't happen. I really don't know why. I don't think the game's ever really given a reason. Because I think most Ys games don't do this either. Like, I know E7 doesn't do it because... reasons. Again, I don't think it actually ever says. So yeah, it's a little bit of a good thing to know, because I do know, like, when I first played through, like, even this game, when like I was playing through 7 and this one, I would just be like, oh, I need to heal. Well, I cleared all the enemies, I'll stand still and I'll go to get a drink, and then when I come back, I'm still at the same HP, and I'm like, oh, I see. That's why. Oh. What do you suppose that is? Who on earth is this? A decayed corpse rests against a boulder. Based on its tattered attire, Adol suspects that it must be a pirate. Whoever this person was, they must have died many years ago. But why are they here to begin with? That's honestly an interesting question. Why is that guy here? I almost said thing, and that would have been very disrespectful. But you did notice he actually did have something on him, so let's examine it. Received medicine. Now, that is different from the heal potion, and I guess I'll kind of explain how potions and medicines work. So, a heal potion will heal 60% of your HP, which is good. And then a revive medicine will revive you and heal 10% of your HP. Your basic Phoenix Downs. But potions work different in this game. As you can tell, this potion is in a bottle. And I don't want to use it because I want to be able to have it as we're exploring, and just in case I might need it, I want to have it. But when you use a heal potion, your bottle will be empty. And that will come into play a little bit later, because potions are going to be something that, spoiler, we will be making with materials that we pick up. And yes, the amount of empty bottles you have is very, very key. I wanted to mention that now because I feel like some people, I mean, it does get mentioned in the tutorial. I would just be afraid that some people wouldn't realize that right away and just kind of go ham on making so many potions and stuff. They don't really consider how much they're limited to in the beginning of the game. You really got to be careful with what you have. You know, I've played a lot of JRPGs. In fact, I've played a lot of video games. And there's one thing I know for sure. If I see something that heals me, and I see a big empty room ahead, I don't think we're gonna have some smooth sailing in our future.
Did you see that? I'm certain that was a person. Come, we must catch up to him. This beast! You intend to bar our path, then I won't hold back.
You can now use your extra skill. Extra skills. 1, the extra gauge will fill when you land a skill hit. Or when you hit an enemy with a skill. I think it actually has to be an enemy. I'm kind of unsure about that, but yeah. When the gauge is full, hold R1 and press L1 to unleash a tremendously powerful attack. Tremendously is incredibly right, but I'm going to put Adol on defensive because here we have VIII, our very first boss, and he's kind of a interesting tutorial fight. As you can see, he has a variety of moves. He does this hopping attack that you can dodge around, and if you time it just right, you'll get your flash guards and stuff like that. Let's see if I can get it. Ooh, I didn't. I actually took some damage. Well, that's not good. There, he has a swiping attack. Oh, I actually couldn't do it there. Damn. So, yeah, pretty typical first boss. Now, you probably noticed that I just did something there, which is I would flash move, and then I use the flash guard. I'm actually kind of messing up here a little bit, so I will switch to Adol. Ow. Something I should mention is try to get used to your character's movements and their attack speeds, because I can tell you right now, they will be important. Because you could be swinging, and then all of a sudden you won't be able to dodge. Yes, there is stuff like that in this game, and it's pretty incredible. Well, the game told us to use an active skill. Let's learn this one, and then let's unleash our powerful attack. A bit extra? Maybe. But that was cool as hell. With that, we took down our first boss. Victory is ours, Mr. Christian. Victory is ours, Mr. Kristen, is what I meant to say. Now then, we must resume our pursuit and follow that man. Perhaps he will lead us to a settlement. And I do agree, he will lead us somewhere. But I'm gonna save that for the next episode. We got quite a few cutscenes ahead. Honestly, I think it'll be better as another episode entirely. Plus, we took down a boss. What more could you want in a Let's Play? I mean, it's the perfect ending. At least, I think so anyway. Do you agree, Laxia? Do you think it's a good ending? I'm pretty sure she does. Actually, before we end off, we learned a new skill. We learned aerial spin. It's a pretty cool move that Adol gets because he gets to do this. Oh, I'll talk more on aerial spin when I have the chance, but yeah, it's a pretty clean move. That man is our best lead. If we head towards the light, that should get us out of this cave. That's right, you can't return, you actually have to go forward. So with that in mind, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've been enjoying this, and I hope that the journey ahead will be just as fun as this one. Without any further ado, take care. My name's Matt. My name's Ben Matt. I swear I'll learn how to speak one day. Subscribe if you like, and I'll see you in the future episodes. Until then, take care.